Welcome to Bond and Bondage Helpline, where we untangle human emotions. No safe word required. I'm Stella Black. Hit the like and subscribe buttons for your weekly glimpse behind the curtain of human behavior. For the extended version of this video, which includes practical tips and real-life scenarios, please join me on Patreon. The link is in the description box below. A lot has been said, written, and vlogged about seduction, and one would think that the topic has been covered many times over. I'm going to explore it via the neurobiological and psychological lens and provide you with a detailed guide and practical advice on how to implement your ethical seduction campaign. I want to state the following in no uncertain terms. You don't need to trick someone into liking you. Most people walk around with unhealed psychological wounds that predispose them to like a very wide variety of individuals who can't imagine themselves to be likable. You've seen that couple that makes you scratch your head at their apparent incompatibility. So there's something to attraction that's a lot more fundamental than just appearance. It's important to note that seduction is a nuanced and complex subject. Here's a general step-by-step guide to seducing and enthralling someone, while keeping in mind the importance of respect, empathy, and consent. A word on negging. Negging, the act of offering backhanded compliments or subtle insults to create insecurity, has long been promoted as a seduction tactic. The idea behind it is that by lowering someone's self-esteem, they will seek validation from the person delivering the negging, thus becoming more invested in their approval. However, this approach is not only manipulative, but also fundamentally flawed from a psychological standpoint. First, negging operates on the assumption that insecurity breeds attraction, but in reality, it breeds resentment, defensiveness, and distrust. People, especially those with low self-esteem, are already hyper-aware of their perceived shortcomings. Highlighting these in a dismissive or mocking way doesn't make them view you as high value. It makes them associate you with discomfort and emotional risk. At best, they will see you as arrogant or unkind. At worst, they will internalize the insult and withdraw, seeing you as yet another person who reinforces their negative self-image. Either way, the result is counterproductive to building genuine attraction. Second, negging fails because it creates the wrong kind of emotional tension. Attraction thrives on curiosity, admiration, and a sense of being seen in a special way. Negging, on the other hand, fosters an anxious need for approval, an emotion that leads to short-term compliance at best, but never long-term desire. People remember how you make them feel, and if your presence is associated with feeling belittled or judged, any attraction will quickly be overshadowed by a need to protect themselves. True seduction is about making someone feel irresistibly drawn to you. Not because you've chipped away at their self-worth, but because in your presence they feel valued, safe, and deeply understood. If you must lower someone's self-esteem to get their attention, you're not truly desirable. You're just compensating for your own insecurities by preying on theirs. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into how we can seduce someone in a grown-up way. 1. Understand and build emotional safety. Seduction begins not with grand gestures, but with a foundation of trust. Emotional safety is the bedrock upon which attraction can flourish, especially for individuals with low self-esteem. Such individuals are often acutely sensitive to rejection and may have built defensive walls to protect themselves from potential emotional harm. Your first responsibility is to ensure they feel genuinely secure in your presence, both emotionally and psychologically. Create a judgment-free zone. People who struggle with self-worth often anticipate judgment, even in casual conversations. Counter this expectation by being a steady, accepting presence. Avoid sarcastic remarks or playful teasing that might be misinterpreted as criticism, as even seemingly harmless comments can trigger deep-seated insecurities. Instead, offer affirmations that reinforce their value, both explicitly, "I love the way your mind works," and implicitly, smiling genuinely when they speak, maintaining soft eye contact. Listen deeply and validate their emotions. Active listening is one of the most powerful seduction tools. When they share their thoughts or insecurities, don't just wait for your turn to speak. Immerse yourself in their perspective. Nod, offer subtle affirmations like, "I understand," or rephrase their words to show you're fully engaged. The key to validation is not to immediately try to fix their problems, but to acknowledge their emotions as real and significant. Cultivate patience and a gentle pace. Someone with low self-esteem may fear being abandoned once their perceived flaws are exposed. They may also struggle with believing they are worthy of affection, which can make them hesitant in moving toward intimacy. The worst mistake you can make is rushing them or applying pressure. Instead, let them set the tempo. Subtly, reinforce their value. One of the most seductive things you can do is help them see themselves through a more positive lens. Compliments should be specific and meaningful, focusing on traits they may not even realize are attractive. If they downplay their strengths, gently counter their self-doubt. By prioritizing emotional safety, you lay the groundwork for a deep and enduring attraction, one where they feel irresistibly drawn to your presence, not because of manipulation, but because with you, they finally feel understood. 2. Appeal to their insecurities with subtlety. True seduction isn't about empty praise. It's about recognizing and nurturing the hidden aspects of a person's identity that they may not even fully appreciate themselves. When dealing with someone who has low self-esteem, their insecurities often shape how they view relationships and attraction. They may believe they are unremarkable, unworthy, or easily replaceable. Your role is to gently challenge that belief, not through excessive flattery, but through carefully chosen affirmations that reinforce their uniqueness in ways that feel sincere and profound. Empower their weaknesses by reframing them as strengths. Insecurity often stems from distorted self-perception. A person may see their shyness as a flaw, their introspection as overthinking, or their passion as being too much. By subtly reframing these qualities as attractive traits, you shift their perspective and make them feel valued in ways they may have never experienced before. The key here is not to dismiss their insecurity outright, but to offer a perspective that makes them reconsider it. This creates an emotional bond because, in your presence, they feel seen and understood in a way they rarely do with others. Use subtle, specific compliments that feel authentic. Compliments are most effective when they are tailored to the individual rather than generic statements that could apply to anyone. Instead of saying, "You're so smart," which might feel hollow or impersonal, say, "I love the way your mind works. You always bring up perspectives I never considered." Avoid overloading them with compliments, as excessive praise can feel manipulative or disingenuous, especially to someone who struggles with self-worth. Make them feel special in a way that others have overlooked. People with low self-esteem often believe they are forgettable, ordinary, or unworthy of deep admiration. To build a strong emotional connection, show them that they possess qualities that make them irreplaceable. Pay attention to the small, unique things about them, the way their eyes light up when they talk about something they love, the quiet kindness they show in moments when no one is watching, or the way they have a distinct way of thinking about the world. By highlighting what makes them different from others in a meaningful way, you offer them something invaluable: the belief that they are worth noticing, worth remembering, and worth desiring. 3. Use nonverbal communication to deepen attraction. Words can be powerful, but nonverbal communication often speaks louder. Mastering body language allows you to create an emotional and psychological connection without saying a word. Someone with low self-esteem may be especially attuned to unspoken cues, interpreting them as signs of acceptance or rejection. Your goal is to make them feel at ease while subtly increasing their comfort with intimacy. Exude warmth and presence. The way you carry yourself sets the tone for the interaction. Keep your posture open, uncrossed arms, relaxed shoulders, and a slight lean forward when they speak. These signals communicate attentiveness and make them feel heard and valued. Avoid fidgeting or checking your phone, as distractions can make them feel unimportant or dismissed. Eye contact is particularly powerful. Hold their gaze slightly longer than usual, not in an intense or intimidating way, but with a soft, steady focus that signals genuine interest. Use subtle mirroring to build comfort. Mirroring is a psychological technique in which you subtly reflect the other person's movements, speech patterns, or posture. This creates an unconscious sense of connection, as humans naturally feel more comfortable with those who seem similar to them. If they lean forward, you can gradually do the same. If they speak slowly and softly, slightly adjust your pace to match theirs. Use gentle, well-timed physical touch. Physical touch is one of the strongest tools for building intimacy, but it must be approached carefully, especially with someone who may have insecurities or past negative experiences with affection. The key is to introduce touch in a way that feels natural and reassuring rather than invasive. Start with light, non-threatening touches in socially acceptable areas, such as a brief touch on the forearm during conversation or a light pat on the back when leading them through a doorway. The goal is to gauge their comfort level and ensure they respond positively before increasing physical closeness. Over time, these subtle touches create an unspoken bond, making physical intimacy feel organic rather than abrupt. The most seductive touch is one that feels natural and welcome rather than forced. Leverage silence as a tool for attraction. Most people feel the urge to fill every pause in conversation, but comfortable silence can be incredibly powerful. Let moments linger, especially after eye contact or a shared smile. A well-placed pause can create an air of mystery and anticipation, subtly drawing them toward you without needing to say a word. 4. Play the role of the protector and confidant. For someone with low self-esteem, the world can feel like an unpredictable and sometimes hostile place. They may struggle with trust, feel unsupported, or hesitate to open up out of fear of judgment. Your role is to become a safe haven, someone they associate with security, stability, and emotional warmth. Become a trustworthy presence. Trust is the foundation of emotional intimacy, and for someone with self-doubt, it must be earned through consistency rather than empty words. Show reliability in small but meaningful ways. Keep your promises, follow through on commitments, and be present when they need you. Avoid dismissing their worries, even if they seem irrational to you. Instead of saying, "That's not a big deal," try, "I understand why that would bother you. Want to talk about it?" This validates their feelings rather than making them feel like they are overreacting or being a burden. Share your own vulnerabilities to build connection. People with low self-esteem often feel isolated in their struggles, believing they are uniquely flawed. One of the most powerful ways to bridge this gap is to share your own imperfections and challenges, but in a way that feels natural and balanced. The goal is not to unload your emotional baggage, but to show that you too have faced insecurities, setbacks, and doubts. However, be mindful of the balance. If you overshare too soon or shift the focus to your struggles too frequently, it can make them feel responsible for your emotions rather than supported by you. The key is to offer personal insights in a way that reassures them without overwhelming them. Be their champion. Encourage growth and self-belief. A person with low self-esteem often underestimates their strengths and potential. Your role as a protector and confidant includes helping them see their worth, not through forced affirmations, but through small, consistent reinforcements that reshape their self-perception over time. Encourage their interests. If they express doubt about trying something new, support them in taking that step. Say, "You'd be great at that. Why not give it a shot?" And, if possible, participate with them to make it less intimidating. Reframe their negative self-talk. When they put themselves down, gently challenge it. If they say, "I'm terrible at this," respond with, "Maybe you just haven't had the right approach yet. I've seen you figure out other things. Why should this be any different?" Be a protector without becoming a rescuer. While offering support is essential, avoid falling into the trap of saving them from every difficulty. The most seductive and empowering thing you can do is help them build their own confidence, rather than fostering dependence. Instead of solving their problems for them, guide them toward realizing they are capable of handling challenges on their own. 5. Create a sense of mystery. Seduction is fueled by intrigue, and mystery is one of the most potent ways to keep someone engaged. The human mind is naturally drawn to what it cannot fully grasp. When you leave room for curiosity, you create an irresistible pull. This doesn't mean being secretive or playing hard to get in an artificial way. Instead, it's about revealing yourself in layers, allowing them to feel like they are gradually uncovering something rare and special. Use elusive communication. Say just enough, but not everything. The art of mystery lies in suggestion. Instead of explaining things outright, drop hints, use metaphors, or let your words carry layers of meaning. This engages their imagination, making them work to piece together who you are. By allowing gaps in your storytelling, you make them an active participant in discovering who you are. Engage in intellectual and philosophical discussions. A person with depth is inherently intriguing. Engaging them in thoughtful conversations sets you apart from surface-level interactions, making them see you as someone who challenges their thinking and expands their perspective. When you position yourself as someone with layers of depth and insight, you naturally draw them into wanting to learn more about you. Keep them in a state of anticipation. The key to sustaining attraction is to always leave them wanting more. When ending a conversation, leave an open thread. "Remind me to tell you about the time I almost got stranded in the middle of nowhere. That's a good story." This ensures they'll come back, wanting to uncover the next piece of the puzzle. By mastering the balance between intrigue, suggestion, and depth, you create a dynamic where they feel magnetically pulled toward you because they need to know more. 6. Make them feel desired. One of the most powerful aspects of seduction is making someone feel genuinely wanted, not just in a superficial or fleeting way, but deeply valued and appreciated. When someone has low self-esteem, they may not often feel truly seen. By recognizing their uniqueness and expressing your admiration with sincerity, you create a magnetic dynamic where they begin to associate your presence with confidence and self-worth. Subtly, lift their self-esteem with genuine admiration. People with insecurities often dismiss or downplay compliments, especially if they feel like they aren't truly special. Your job is to highlight the aspects of their personality, intellect, or talents that they might not even recognize as attractive. While physical attraction is important, true desire runs deeper. If they sense that you are drawn to them for more than just appearance, it creates a lasting, irresistible connection. Express desire. Without rushing, create a slow burn. Seduction isn't about overwhelming someone with instant intensity. It's about letting attraction unfold naturally, allowing anticipation to build. When someone struggles with insecurity, a slow, steady approach reassures them that your interest is real and not just fleeting. 7. Be a source of fun and excitement. Attraction thrives on emotion, and few emotions are more intoxicating than excitement. If you can make someone associate your presence with fun, adventure, and possibility, they will crave being around you. For someone with low self-esteem, life may often feel predictable or even stagnant. By introducing an element of spontaneity and lightheartedness, you shift their perspective, showing them that being with you means stepping into a world of thrill and positive energy. Invite them into new, exciting experiences. People with low self-esteem often hesitate to step outside their comfort zones, fearing failure or embarrassment. Your role is to introduce them to new experiences in a way that feels thrilling rather than intimidating. By making new experiences feel inviting rather than overwhelming, you subtly expand their comfort zone, associating you with growth and excitement. If they get stuck in negative self-talk, turn it into a game. For the next 5 minutes, you have to say something good about yourself every time you complain. Let's see if you can do it. This playfully challenges them while reinforcing self-worth. By shifting their mindset from limitation to possibility, you become the person who makes them feel capable, curious, and excited about life. Be spontaneous and unpredictable. Routine can feel safe, but it can also feel dull, especially when someone is stuck in their own insecurities. By introducing unpredictability in a way that feels playful and fun, you make every moment with you feel fresh and engaging. If they're hesitant about spontaneity, ease them into it with low-pressure surprises. I have a challenge for you. Say yes to the next unexpected thing we do. Deal? This subtly nudges them toward embracing excitement. The key to spontaneity isn't just randomness. It's creating a sense of playfulness and adventure. 8. Make them feel like the center of your world. Create an intense connection by giving them your undivided attention. When you're trying to seduce someone, one of the most powerful ways to attract them is by making them feel like the most important person in the room when you're with them. People love feeling like the center of attention, especially when it comes to someone they find intriguing. By offering your full attention, you subtly communicate that they matter to you, that they have something special that makes them stand out from everyone else. Occasionally put their needs before your own to show you're invested in them. When you're trying to seduce someone, showing that you're willing to invest time and energy into their needs, at least occasionally, can go a long way. While it's important to remain true to your own interests and priorities, putting their needs ahead of yours shows that you're not just focused on getting something out of the interaction. It creates a sense of admiration and attraction when someone feels that you're willing to make them a priority, even in a small, thoughtful way. Tip: a good CBT practice is cognitive reframing, adjusting your thinking to recognize how showing care can enhance your connection. For instance, you might think, if I take a moment to be kind and understanding, this person will see me as someone who is thoughtful and considerate, which will increase attraction. By showing them that you're willing to take the time to make them feel special, you reinforce their perception of you as someone of value. When trying to seduce someone, making them feel like the center of your world doesn't require grand gestures. It's about showing genuine, undivided attention. Through small acts of kindness and consideration, like prioritizing their needs or making them feel like an important part of your life, you can create an irresistible attraction. The key is to be present, engaged, and empathetic, allowing them to feel that they're not just one of many options, but someone who holds a significant place in your attention and affection. 9. Encourage their growth and independence. Empower them to recognize their own strengths and capabilities. While seduction can sometimes involve creating a sense of emotional dependency, true attraction and long-term connection come from empowering the other person to feel confident, self-sufficient, and capable. This is where psychological insight into human nature and biological principles of attraction intersect. People are more attracted to individuals who are self-assured, capable, and pursuing their own goals. By encouraging their growth and independence, you not only boost their attraction to you, but also build a deeper, more respectful connection. Instead of just complimenting their looks, praise their intellect, resilience, or creativity. Help them see that they are worthy of success and admiration, not just from you, but from the world around them. Seduction at its core isn't just about attracting someone, it's about lifting them up in ways that make them feel worthy of success, admiration, and respect. 10. Build a slow, steady emotional intensity. Create moments of emotional highs that leave them craving more of your attention. The key to building emotional intensity in seduction lies in creating moments that leave a lasting emotional impact. These moments, when crafted carefully, can trigger the release of feel-good chemicals such as dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin, chemicals associated with attraction, bonding, and pleasure. When you provide someone with these emotional highs, they begin to associate those positive feelings with you, naturally leading to an increased desire for your attention. Tip: from a biological standpoint, emotional highs are linked to the release of dopamine, which is the brain's reward chemical. By sharing moments of joy, excitement, and vulnerability, you trigger dopamine release, making the person feel a rush of pleasure. To deepen the attraction, ensure that your emotional highs are sincere and tied to real connections. Authenticity is critical. Avoid forcing moments of emotional intensity. Instead, let them unfold naturally. Introduce moments of distance to enhance their sense of value and craving for your presence. One of the most powerful psychological tricks in seduction is the ability to create just the right amount of emotional distance. When you allow space between moments of closeness, it creates a sense of longing and desire. This dynamic plays into the psychological concept of intermittent reinforcement, where variable patterns of reward, in this case, your attention, make the person crave the next reward even more intensely. When the brain experiences an emotional high, followed by a period of anticipation, in this case, not immediately receiving your attention, the brain begins to crave that dopamine rush more intensely. Over time, this creates a deeper emotional investment. Don't rush the process. Let the emotional and physical connection develop slowly. While it can be tempting to rush physical or emotional intimacy, taking your time and allowing both to build gradually tends to create more lasting and powerful attraction. Slowly building this physical and emotional connection fosters an attachment that feels natural, comfortable, and genuine. Tip: use gradual escalation when it comes to both emotional and physical intimacy. Start with shared laughter and positive experiences, then allow emotional conversations to deepen over time. When physical touch does occur, keep it subtle and non-sexual to start. This might be a light touch on their arm or shoulder when you're making a point. These little moments build rapport and trust without overwhelming them, increasing the chances that they'll be more receptive when the relationship naturally intensifies. Create a sense of emotional security that allows them to relax into the relationship. For emotional and physical attraction to grow steadily, it's essential that the person feels emotionally safe and secure with you. This security allows them to open up, relax, and invest in the relationship. Power dynamics in relationships should never be manipulative, and consent and clear communication are vital. Always aim for mutual growth and support rather than exploiting someone's insecurities. That's enough for now. Your scars might be on the inside, but scar patches come in all shapes and sizes. Find your patch and protect them with your life. See you next week.